Welcome to Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, the podcast where three Chicago guys light up a fine cigar and get into everything from sports and current events to hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, or just some good laughs, we got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for laid-back chats with a Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air.
Hello, Marty.
We are live.
We are live.
Welcome back, Mike. How was vacation?
Thank you. It was great. It was great. Yeah, it did a little bit of Floribama, or Bama Flora. So that was nice. We were down there seeing some family, and then at the same time, my daughter was down there with my grandson for a wedding. So we were able to babysit for an entire day, which spending a day with my grandson couldn't be any better. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so it was great. It was great. I fixed up the Aganorsa Leaf Studio in Central Illinois. I changed the lighting a little bit. Got a little bit more going on, so keep perfecting it. I don't have it as nice as the Cedar Room, but you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. How are you doing?
A little bit at a time. I like the big flex arm behind you there. That's cool.
Absolutely. And I got my monkey behind me. He's smoking or something. I guess there you go. I can't see him. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, how you doing? How was your week since I was gone? I did catch the show a little bit for last week, and then as your wife yelled at me and my wife yelled at me, I quickly jumped off and continued the vacation.
Yeah, we had fun last week. That was fun movie trivia night, and it was a quiet week. Other than that, got to hang out with my friends another night last weekend, and yeah. Mainly still recovering from the fishing trip. I think I finally got up on my sleep.
Yeah, I'm jealous. My buddies are going tomorrow. They leave tomorrow for our annual fishing trip. So I'm back to work. My first day back to work is tomorrow. So, you know, we were supposed to come back late yesterday, and some things changed. And so we said, okay, we're going to hit the road Sunday. So we hit the road Sunday morning. And being the stubborn SOB that I am, I drove 14 hours straight through. So we got home late Sunday night. But that's not a bad thing to turn around and then have 2 days off to recover from that. So it was actually pretty good.
That's a lot of driving.
That is a lot of driving. It's a lot of, and the boring thing is you basically, it's a third of the way is Alabama. A third of the way is Tennessee and Kentucky, and the next third is that long drive through Illinois from Metropolis at the very base all the way up. So it's like, oh man, it just, you hit Illinois and you feel like, oh, I'm home, and you realize, no, I still got about 4.5 hours to go. So it was a killer.
Good thing about Southern Illinois is unless they're doing construction, is there's not a lot of traffic. So
they are doing construction.
Of course they are.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, again, we know there's 2 seasons in Illinois, winter and construction.
Yep.
It's just, holy cow. It's unbelievable. I was at one point going, are you kidding me? Is this ever going to end? So, and then we did make our stop at the Alabama official Buc-ee's.
Oh, nice. Well, what else did you get besides the big cup?
The fun-sized wife has never been to a Buc-ee's, and so we left on Wednesday morning after spending the night at the hotel. We were driving, and I said, "That's our destination. That's our next stop is Buc-ee's." And she's like, "Okay." So we got to the Buc-ee's in Athens, Georgia, and she goes, "I got to go to the bathroom." I said, "Well, let me tell you, you're in for a treat." She's like, all right, whatever. He came out and said, holy cow. That was the nicest. My stall had real walls on the side of it, a real door. I said, I'm telling you, the Buc-ee's are known for their bathrooms.
Yeah.
But so I got a Buc-ee's mug. Both tried one of their sandwiches. Phenomenal sandwiches. Holy cow, their sandwiches are the brisket and the chicken and the turkey. Yeah, so that was, and then of course we picked up some beef jerky. And I think that's really about it. We didn't walk out of there for less than $100.
Yeah, you almost hate to leave there.
Mm-hmm.
back on the road.
Yep. So that was fun. So, and then we hit the Floribama bar down there, and that place it's phenomenal. Sat on the beach on Friday, I guess it was, for about 3 hours just listening to music. You can't beat it. You really can't. I couldn't light up a cigar on the beach. I was very, very disappointed at that, but we'll talk about that as we talk about our mission for the day.
All right. So
Yeah.
what are you smoking now?
I am smoking. Dun, da, da, da,
Oh, nice.
Aganorsa Leaf anniversary cigar. Oh, I got a box of these, and I let them rest. I literally got the box on Tuesday morning and went to the post office before we left. Got them, brought them home, put them in my humidor. I said, okay, this will be perfect. And they can sit for a week, and I'll smoke it when I get home. I'll smoke it on the podcast. So, in the first, I don't know, quarter inch, it's phenomenal. This is I wish that I could add this to my list, but it's a limited. So
Is that the first one you've
yes,
tasted?
it literally the first one.
Well, look what I got.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Is that the Alma de Cielo?
Cielo, yeah. And in the middle is the Pete Johnson 50th birthday cigar.
Oh wow. Wow.
So
Very nice.
I'll be able to check out the Aganorsa one as well there. So
The anniversary, yeah.
Yeah.
We might have to make a list of limiteds, make a sub list. We'll do our top 10 regulars. Maybe we can come up with a sub list of our top 3 limited or something like that.
Or maybe a top 10 with the limited included and see where they would fit if you counted it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you, Juan Cancel. So, what are you smoking? I forgot to ask you. What are you smoking?
I am smoking the Pappy Van Winkle.
Oh, yes.
Drew Estates.
A very special cigar, considering everything.
Yeah. Yeah, smoking this in honor of Mark Ryan, who passed away last week.
Last week, yeah. Yeah.
And, I had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times.
Did you? Where at?
At the Bourbon and Beyond Festival in Louisville. Pappy Van Winkle, because it was a bourbon themed festival.
Yes.
They had a booth, and I went a couple of years, and he was the main guy running the booth there.
Okay.
So got to talk to him. He's a very nice guy.
That's what I heard. I never had the pleasure of meeting him. I did hear that he's a very nice guy. I did hear also that he is a guy that will talk to you for forever and a day. That he just is happy to get to talk to you and to meet you and to go from there. So,
yeah, he was right at home talking to all the people that would come in and talking to him about the cigars and whatever.
Nice. Excellent. Well, that's awesome.
So Mike, what's our mission for tonight?
Oh, our mission. I don't have it up, but it's cigar season. This is it. I'm in short sleeves. I got shorts on. I'm not going to show you my white legs, even though I was on the beach for a few hours. I'm still, it's cigar season. This is for the Midwest. I know all of you folks that aren't watching us in the southern half of the United States are looking and going, so what? But for those of us up here in the Midwest, Chicago and the rest of us, this is when we start to feel great. This is when we start to get outdoors and jump around. And Teddy is jumping in. And no, I am not showing some leg. So
please don't.
Yeah, no. But yeah, this is a great time of year. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's summertime, or springtime, I guess, for now. But I like the warm weather. I mean, I don't mind the cold weather, but it's just something about when Chicago starts to thaw out and the Midwest starts to thaw out. It's fun. So we're going to talk about cigar season. We're going to talk about the ups, the downs, if there are any downs. I can think of a couple, and the such. So, yeah,
Sounds like a good topic. Lots
it's always
out there.
Yeah, we'll throw it out there. So, now you and I both have cigar rooms. I have the cigar lounge. You have the cedar room. So I do smoke in the Aganorsa Leaf studios when we're not broadcasting. So I like to enjoy that. But come summertime, you've got a pretty nice little setup in that backyard of yours.
Yeah. Oh, a backyard that overlooks a pond in a wooded area, and I got a shelter out there to keep the sun off, and yeah, it's very comfortable out there. Definitely try and go out there as much as I can when the weather's nice.
So do you spend more time out there smoking in the summertime, or is it still the ease of going into the cedar room and firing up one and relaxing?
It depends on the weather. Like if it's too windy, I don't like to be smoking in the wind. First of all, you can have a hard time lighting your cigar. Mm-hmm. Like the flame is blowing all over the place, and you're trying to light the cigar, and I'm like, God, I just got to get out of this wind. So sometimes I'll light it indoors and go outside, but generally, I don't like smoking in the wind too much, and it can be kind of windy here.
Yeah.
And if it gets too hot, which, the climate in Chicago is not super hot. It's not like the South where you're baking in 90 degrees every day from August, July to August. We get our share of 70s in the summer. So definitely like to sit out on the back deck and
I try every morning. I have 2 decks. You were here for the
No, I missed it.
You missed it. Okay. So I have 2 decks. So I have a back deck that's very large. We actually had a enclosed canopy around it 2 years ago. And then last year we tore the whole deck out and put a new deck in. So this year I'll be putting up a new, pretty much like what you have, the steel roof or the metal roof on it, and some sliding screens, walls on it. So that's nice. So I enjoy that. But in the morning, we have a beautiful deck in the front of our house. I know you have a similar thing. So I like to at least get out there and spend 20, 30 minutes just enjoying a cigar before I jump in the car and head off to the office. So I try to do that, which I thoroughly enjoy it. I just think that is so peaceful. I'm out here in the country, so I don't have to worry about traffic running up and down my street, so I can just relax and enjoy it. So yeah, that's definitely a big part of my spring and summer. And most of the time in the early mornings around 7:30, it's still pretty cool out. We're not getting those scorching hot mornings, so I can enjoy those. But yeah, so that's mine. And I'm pretty much like you too. I don't like to sit out there if it's too hot. I have brought a fan out into our 2 years ago when we had the canopy. I brought a fan into there and was able to enjoy it. But sometimes it just gets too hot and too sticky.
Yeah. The sun gets to be a certain height in the sky, and I don't have enough shade to stay out of the sun. Then I'll go to the front porch, because that's shade all afternoon.
Yeah.
It's nice to have 2 places, but it's definitely
absolutely is
way more relaxing than sitting. I mean, this is a pretty relaxing room, but I usually will have the TV on or something down here, so it's nice to sit and listen to the birds and
put on some mellow music and just enjoy a cigar outside.
Yeah.
And of course, now are you a big golfer?
not a big golfer, but
you golf?
I enjoy golfing. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it before I had my knee surgery. Now I try to avoid it as much as possible. I actually gave my golf clubs away. I actually gave them away to a hey T-Mac, how you doing there, buddy? He wants to know why Teddy's not there. Teddy is actually claiming that he's working right now, so we'll believe that when we see it.
Except
we never see his paychecks.
He's commenting on here, so how much can he be working really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but yeah, so I've stopped golf. Obviously, we talked about a couple weeks ago. Fishing and cigars again. If you didn't hear our show a couple weeks ago with Lure Cigars, yeah, you can't beat fishing and smoking a cigar in the summertime or springtime. So that's definitely a big plus. Something I read, and I had a problem with this past week, is smoking a cigar on the beach. I don't know where somebody came up with the idea that you can smoke a cigar on the beach, but I tried. I actually asked somebody before I lit up. I actually asked the bartender, and he's like, "Oh no, they don't allow that on this beach." So I don't know if it was sort of their rules, but I'm not a big fan for smoking a cigar on the beach. I'm just not. I don't want sand to get onto my cigar, and I don't want to be pulling sand crystals out of my mouth as I'm trying to enjoy a cigar. So,
but if you have a lounge chair with an umbrella, maybe that might be nice. But yeah, if the rules are no smoking on the beach, that'll destroy that idea.
Yeah, I know. Smoking on a boat. That's back in the day when our family had a cabin up in Michigan. Happy hour was phenomenal. Happy hour at 4:00. We would get out there and just enjoy a cigar and a drink as we floated around the lake. Oh, T-Mac says there are some beaches allowed in Maryland and Virginia.
I'm sure
I'm gonna have to work my way up there.
Yeah, gotta research. Do your research.
Absolutely. But no, I love smoking. I love smoking cigars on a boat. We had a pontoon boat, so it was amazing to just sit on that pontoon boat, whether it was a beer or a mixed drink of something. I couldn't have been happier. Couldn't have been happier. So
ain't nobody gonna tell you can't smoke on your own boat.
Mm-mm.
You're the
No, they're not. No, they're not. So, and I don't think, do we miss anything else for the increased smoking areas? Barbecues obviously are, and there is a cigar barbecue. How do you pronounce that, Marty?
Barbecue. Cigar barbecue.
Cigar barbecue. So the dojo's hosting or sponsoring or announcing their annual cigar barbecue on May 25th. So 12 days from today. I think it's a Saturday or a Sunday.
Usually it's a Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. So, and if you're not part of the dojo, I recommend jumping over there and checking it out. And a couple years ago, they had a playlist that they shared. You could add music to the playlist.
Yeah.
So that was always fun.
Spotify playlist.
Yeah, Spotify playlist. So that was fun. And then they do a pretty cool giveaway just by posting what you're eating, what you're cooking, what you're smoking, with the hashtags. I think it's barbecue 25 or cigar barbecue 25, whatever it is. Head over to the dojo and check it out and participate. But yeah, barbecues are always fun. It's just.
I think they're giving away a grill this year.
Are they?
Nice grill. I think that's what I recall. Yeah.
Last year they gave away that torch thing, right? Some torch thing to start your grill up or something.
It was weird. I kind of remember that.
Yeah. So I think Camacho sponsors it with them. So
right.
But I always find barbecues interesting because if you're a smoker and somebody's coming over that doesn't smoke and they go, "Hey, can I get one of those? It's always that fine line. It's always that fine line of, do I give him something good or do I give him something that I have these special moments? So
then you got to kind of feel them out and talk to them about cigars a little bit and pull something appropriate out of your humidor.
Yes. With the in-laws this past week, I smoked on their patio in Alabama, and I was nervous, and I did purposely pack a few cigars. Should my father-in-law say, hey, can I get one of those? Because experience that I've had in the past is they'll smoke about a third of it, and then it gets crunched out into the ashtray. So, but he's like, oh, I haven't smoked a cigar in 10 years. I thought, yeah, and I can tell you what you smoked 10 years ago and what you did with that smoke 10 years ago. So, but yeah, so barbecues are always interesting. They're always interesting to have, to start smoking at a barbecue and then see what somebody is saying. So,
yeah, and there's other smoke in the air, so people aren't as bothered by it.
oh yeah,
hang out around the barbecue with the burgers or the ribs going, then
yeah,
your smoke isn't as noticeable.
Yeah. One of the things, and I can speak to my experience, but one of the things that I was reading about with cigar season is smoking at weddings. What's your thoughts, or what's your experience with smoking at weddings?
I never have smoked at a wedding.
Okay.
But so we made sure that the wedding venue could have cigars outside. So I'll be bringing a nice box to hand out to various people.
And I'm going to ask you a question here in a minute about that. But yes, so my daughter got married last April, and obviously knows that Dad smokes cigars and Dad's paying for the venue. And so that's the first thing she asked him. She asked him two questions. Can I get a special bottle of bourbon for my dad? And can he smoke cigars? And they said, here's the cigar smoking area, the cigarette smoking and whatever right here. And they got me the bourbon. So now my son's getting married in August. So they were just in at Christmas time, and technically they're already married. They didn't elope, but they got married in January before he got transferred to his new job. And that was probably more financial than anything. But they're having a official ceremony / dinner in August. And again, they said, hey, do you have a smoking area? And it's an all outdoor event. And they said, yeah, it's this area right over here. And then he says to me, Dad, would you mind hosting the cigar bar? So I'm actually, and you mentioned bringing a box, but I'm actually trying to research what to bring because, I figure I'm spending about $1,000 on cigars. But at the same point, it's, do you put out the good cigars and let people grab them, or do you put out the lower end? And then if somebody goes, oh, that's a XYZ, do you have a Aganorsa, or do you have a Dunbarton, or do you have a, Black Star Line? Oh, hold on a second. I've got that box right here. So I'm sort of in that quandary of what to do on that situation.
And then if you buy like too many and not enough people, if you get something you don't really, you wouldn't really enjoy yourself, and you don't hand out enough or give away enough, or however you do in the cigar bar, then you're going to end up with a lot in your inventory.
Well, here's the wife's not listening. So here's my thought process on this. There is an event coming up, I think in a few weeks, that runs the entire summer. So I'm thinking to myself, I can probably pick up a couple packets of Umbagogs and then some other stuff, and it's a win-win situation. Now I will pick up some Aganorses in there, and probably pick up some Anniversario Connecticut's and have those on hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sort of thinking I might be able to work this into a win-win for everybody. So, but you're right. I don't want to get some stuff that if I'm stuck with it, so, but those Navy sailors.
Yeah.
So
You probably
I don't know.
You probably won't be stuck with it.
Mm-mm.
I think you can probably get some good cigars for like $5, in the $5 range. If
That's what I was thinking.
You could get a variety, of natural and a Maduro and a more full-bodied.
But at the same point too, I was thinking, do I just pull out the Umbagogs? You pull out the Umbagogs and you say, hey, here you go. And you got those, it's an $8 or $9 cigar. So,
yeah,
and if somebody wants to grab one and is not sure, okay, you can grab one of those, but the same point, so yeah, so that's my idea for the wedding. Group outings, picnics. You got to be careful with those. There's kids around. So family reunions, picnics, group outings or whatever. Sometimes you got to be cautious. I'm very cautious with those. And sometimes I go, hell with it, I'm just going to smoke one. Parents, if you don't want your kid around cigar smoke, then move away. But at the same time too, I'm very conscientious of it.
I try to be considerate of the people around me.
When my son played baseball, I used to sit out in the outfield and have my cigars there. Because I'm thinking this way, if they blow into the infield, it's not going to be bad. And if it's blowing behind me, nobody's got to worry about it. So it was always my spot, or I parked myself on the third base line a lot of times. Because again, it seemed like it was away from everybody. So, but those are Little League games. You can't smoke at a baseball stadium. Although years ago, you used to be able to, but no bueno now. Oh.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do it on those like Wrigley rooftops in the back. Probably not.
Probably not. Although I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you could, because those are all privately owned.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had a Chi-Town Cigar podcast event at a rooftop in St. Louis, who is giving your Cubbies a run for the money, you Cub fans better be worried. St. Louis is on like a 9-game winning streak. They're 1 game behind you now. So, but you could rent out the rooftop. If you rent it out, it's yours. Do you say to the host, hey, I want to have cigars here? I can't picture them saying no.
Or you just light them up and let them tell you to not.
Yes. That's what I would do if I was at a Cubs one. If I was at the Cubs, sir, you have to put that cigar out or leave. It's a $50 cigar, Marty. I'm sorry. So, so I mean, minor league games used to be a lot of fun, but now you can't even smoke it at minor league games. So,
yeah.
I do think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think we see an increase in cigar smoking in the summer. And I think we see an increase in new cigar smokers.
I think you definitely see an increase because, like, we're lucky to have a place to go indoors. But
yes,
I think most of the people have that.
Yeah.
Like, if you only smoke a cigar once a month or once every couple of weeks, you're probably not going to go the expense of making a nice smoking area in your house, nice ventilated smoking area.
Yeah. And I think too, we experienced it at Rocky Mountain a couple years ago. You see it when you're at different things. There's somebody going, hey, what are you smoking? And now you start talking about that cigar. Oh, I've never smoked a cigar before. What's it like? Oh, hold on. I got one for you here. And now this person's trying it and going, wow, this is really phenomenal. I really like this. And next thing you know, you've introduced somebody to cigar smoking, And it's a lot easier in the summertime than obviously the wintertime for the Midwest. We're in a lounge. You're not getting somebody walking in going, what's this all about? You know, it's those of us that are in there know what we're doing, and those that aren't, they're not. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't go to a lounge, you don't have a place indoors. You're not smoking in the winter here. So definitely, I'm sure it increases, and that's half the country. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you find yourself smoking milder cigars in the summertime because of the temperature?
I don't think so. I don't think my taste changes between the seasons.
So if it's 90 degrees outside, you don't go, oh, I'm not going to smoke a Maduro. I'm going to go grab a Connecticut. You just grab what you want to grab.
If it's 90, I'm coming down here because it's a basement and it feels really nice.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I have never found myself going, oh, it's warm outside, I'm going to smoke. Now, the flip side is it's 85 degrees. I want to smoke this cigar outside, or I want to have a cigar outside. I'm going to smoke a shorter cigar.
Sure.
You know, I might grab a Robusto. I might grab a Rothschild or something like that, but I'm not going to grab myself a Churchill or a Gordo or something like that. I know that, you know, I want to spend 45 minutes out here before I cook myself to death. So,
or you might just smoke half of it and come on inside for the second half.
Exactly. So I do think it's not a negative, but I definitely think that people are a little bit more attuned to what they're smoking based on the weather. So, what about flavored cigars?
Here, Eddie says smoking in Florida heat is brutal, which it just existing in the Florida.
Oh, yes.
Is brutal. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. My in-laws were talking this past week when we were there visiting that they're actually coming up to Michigan for 3 weeks because the heat in Alabama is so bad. I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm like, you moved to Alabama to get away from the Michigan winters, but now you're going to go up to Michigan to get away from the Alabama summers. Yeah. I'm like,
same difference of the snowbirds going down.
Yeah.
Down to the south in the winter and up north in the summer.
Yeah. So
in Florida, everyone's got a pool. So do you smoke a cigar in the pool?
I have pools and hot tubs. Absolutely.
But I'm always worried I'm going to get the cigar wet.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's where you have to judge who's around you. You know, if it's you and your wife in a pool, you're going, hey, I'm smoking a cigar here, relax. That's why I think hot tubs are nice. You put your arms out there in that hot tub and enjoy a nice cigar, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we've got a hot tub in the back that I enjoy.
Yeah,
but I have to pay special attention to remember that I've got a cigar in my hand.
Oh man, do you find yourself smoking infused cigars at all in the summertime because it's summertime?
No.
Okay.
I hardly ever smoke infused cigars. Right. Like the only infused cigar I have is I've got some Fat Bottom Betty's stored away somewhere.
Yeah. I will do a tobacco with my coffee. I have, I'll pick up some of those here. Fat Bottom Betty's, I'll smoke those. The Dominicanas now, that's not infused. It's more pipe tobacco. So it's more aromatic, but I will look forward to having some of those this summer just to sort of try them out and see what we see or see how it goes with those. So hello, Luke. Yes, we are on YouTube. So pass the word, subscribe and like us. Let everybody know. Glad to see you joining us tonight. We appreciate that.
Luke.
So, so
Every night at 7:30, we're here.
Every Tuesday night, not every night. Every Tuesday night.
Yeah, not every Tuesday night at 7:30.
Yeah. So, let's take a break here. Let's go over some. Let's thank our sponsors, because we obviously couldn't do this without our sponsors. And then when we come back, we'll talk about some news and some sports and some other stuff that's going on here. So,
Step into luxury at Ultimate Cigar Lounge, where passion meets perfection. Discover a world of premium cigars, hand-selected from the finest tobacco regions. From bold beginners to seasoned aficionados, our curated collection delights every palate. Grab a cigar from our amazing selection, pair it with freshly brewed coffee or fine spirits, and sit back and relax in an atmosphere of elegance and warmth. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, your haven for unforgettable moments. Visit us today and ignite your senses. Ultimate Cigar Lounge, located in Villa Park, Illinois. Open daily. Looking for the ultimate eyewear experience in Chicagoland? Discover Eyewear Fix, your premier eyewear store for over 28 years. From sunglasses to sports glasses to safety gear, we've got it all at every price point. Bring your prescription, and we'll handle the rest. Our appointment-only office offers a private, concierge-style experience tailored to your busy schedule. Call or text Chris at 630-853-4167 to book your visit and see why Eyewear Fix surpasses expectations. Eyewear Fix, where style meets precision. Get your fix today.
Whew. Yeah, and hey, folks, if you're listening to us here in Illinois, Ultimate Cigar Lounge, I think it is this month or next month. I'm not positive. June 28th, so next month, is having Black Label Trading Company an event there. More details will follow. But yeah, keep your eye open. Go over, check out their website, and there'll be some information on there. Or check back with us next week. We'll have more details for you for the Black Label Trading Company event at Ultimate Cigar Lounge in Villa Park.
One of my favorite brands. I think I
Yes.
need to attend that.
I'm wondering if they'll have the boombox there. You think they'll have the boombox there?
Maybe.
I might have to try to pick that up. I don't know.
I've tried most of their cigars, I think.
So have I. Yeah.
So.
So, what's going on in the news, Marty? What's happening? I mean, do you want to start with sports or you want to start with cigars? You take your choice.
Let's do sports.
Okay. Crushing news for the Bulls today.
Really?
Yeah. They're not the number 1 draft pick this year. They lost the coin toss, and so they're number 12. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You got a chance for number 1, you go down to 12.
To number 12. I know. So you can pretty much chalk this next season up to crap. Somebody's got to do something with that team. But yeah, so that was.
They have to sell the team to a new owner.
Yeah.
Or they're going to get good.
Yeah. Speaking of selling the team, my White Sox they were on a winning streak. They've been on a winning streak. They won the series against the Marlins. They're playing some good ball, and they're playing tonight, so we'll see what happens tonight. They're still the second worst team in baseball right now, next to Arizona. So that's a team that needs to be sold. Listen, I'm a diehard Sox fan. I believe if they get sold, they're gone. I just believe if they get sold, they're gone. They will go, Tennessee. Tennessee's building that new stadium in Nashville. We drove by that this week. Holy cow, that thing looks gigantic. So they'll have that football. I mean, it's a football stadium, but I'm sure they could figure out a way to squeeze a baseball team in there. Las Vegas, does Las Vegas have a team, or they're just building a stadium?
The A's are going to Las Vegas.
The A's are going there. Okay. So,
the White Sox are always going to be the second team, and as long as they're in Chicago, they're always going to be the second team.
Yeah.
And I mean, Chicago's a big market, so you can be, you can make money as the second team in Chicago for sure.
Oh, no, absolutely. It's just, I think that
there's a lot of other states pulling them away that want a team that don't have a single team. That
and I think, I
don't think the city of Chicago or Illinois is going to be able to afford building a stadium for them or whatever they want.
No, I mean, and the Bears still haven't rectified their situation yet. So, you're not going to all of a sudden turn around now and say, okay, well, we'll stay in Chicago. We want you to build a stadium. So, it's going to be, I can see a new owner buying the team, keeping it in Chicago for a few years while another stadium is built for them somewhere else, with the idea that we're staying, but realize that, in 2028, we're moving ourselves, so
What's the common theme between the Bulls and the White Sox?
the same owners, the same owners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but your Cubbies, like I told you, they're doing great, but here comes St. Louis. They're knocking on the door.
The Cubs had the hardest part of their schedule just over the last month. So
Did they?
they have the easiest schedule in the National League for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about where they are, but they got pitching injuries. One pitcher's out for the season. Another one, Shota, has a strained hamstring. He's probably out another week or so.
There's still a lot of baseball left. I mean, we're only in May 13th. So there's a lot of baseball left. So,
Yep.
You got to ride out first place all the way till September. So we'll see what happens. And then breaking news in the baseball world. Did you see the breaking news in the baseball world?
I did not.
I can't believe this has happened. And I'm glad, but I can't believe this happened. Pete Rose has been taken off of the ineligible list.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
they said his ban only extended until his death. I'm like, that's pretty lame.
Well, now I know the head of MLB and President Trump had some discussions. So
they want to punish him, but not his fans. Basically, they don't want to. Yeah. They don't want to eternally piss off his fans. So
yes,
this is the way they can. But I wasn't a huge Pete. I didn't like Pete Rose when he was playing. He's a good player. I respected him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he wasn't on the Cubs, so I didn't like him. But
so do you think he's in this next Hall of Fame class, or do you think they're going to take a couple years to try to, if he makes it in at all? I mean, just because he's off the ban doesn't mean that people are going to vote for him.
Yeah.
Do you have to wait for a new generation to come up and go, hey, we're going to put this guy in? It'll be interesting. That'll be the big discussion of topic now for the next couple of years as each Hall of Fame class comes rolling out. If he's not in it,
Shoeless Joe Jackson was the same. So he's been dead for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They said he could be unbanned.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But I wasn't a huge Pete Rose fan, but I was glad to see it. I mean, the thing is he never bet against his team. He always bet that his team was going to win, which, it's one thing to turn around and go, oh, I'm betting the Reds are going to lose. And you sort of do some stuff to make sure they lose. But if you're always betting for your team to win, then you're doing the best thing possible. So it's like going, hey, yes, I'm betting, and yes, I shouldn't be betting, but I'm betting that we're going to win. So therefore, you're getting my best because I not only am I doing my best because my job is based on it, but I'm doing my best because I got money riding on it. Not saying it makes sense, but so
yeah, I think, anymore with all these betting apps, like, I don't know how they're going to police that.
Well, didn't I'm going to butcher this guy's name, Otani? Well, didn't he get caught up in something where his manager was betting in his name or something like that? I thought that was last year. And
you're a player and you wanted to bet and you had like a good friend who wouldn't turn you in, they could bank bets for you.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. Hey, Marty, listen. I practice yesterday. We're sucking wind. We can't get this right. Go lay down $5,000 that we lose. Bet the spread that we lose. Oh, okay, great. So now I know you're betting for me, and then okay, I get winded and get tackled, and yeah, there's, I don't know, I think it's opened up a terrible situation, but
Yep.
but he's no longer banned from baseball. So,
Well, it's good.
yeah. So that's all the sports news I have. What do we got in the cigar world?
Cigar news. So we already talked about Mark Ryan. That was a sad news. We've got the Cohiba versus Cohiba, or Cohiba versus STG, I guess.
Yes.
Scandinavian Tobacco Group, who both have Cohiba, Cuban Cohiba, the original Cohiba, I guess, and the American version. And they've been going back and forth on trademark with each other for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Long time. And so that I guess they ruled in favor of the original Cohiba this time.
Yeah. And STG came back and basically said, whoa, this isn't going to deter us. We're going to go back and look at our options. And I know the question was, how long can this keep going on? But this is what lawyers get paid to do. Oh, hey, we can now appeal this decision. And if we win this decision, it's going to open up that decision. And so, I don't know. I think you're running after a dead dog. It's like, what the heck are you going to get out of this? So.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Well, I guess when I don't know how STG ended up with the trademark or the name. Like, how do you decide? Like, I know why the people left Cuba, right? They were forced to leave. Government took over. And Daddy says nobody cares about both Cohibas.
Yeah, that is pretty true.
Some truth in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they left. Did the people who worked on Cohiba in Cuba, when they left, did they start a brand called Cohiba, or did some group in America say, "Oh, we can use the Cohiba brand because the other one's owned by a bunch of communists"? So
it was. So from what I read on this decision, and that's some of the thing that played into this last decision, was when did USA Cohiba come up with the name? And I guess the two of them were sort of coming into play at the same exact time. And what USA Cohiba said was, "Oh, we had we had our name long before Cuban Cohiba even put it out there." And from all appearance sake, that's exactly what it was. But then they did some more digging and they found out that no. USA Cohiba actually was like applied for the name or something like that. I want to say like a year or two after Cuban Cohiba came up with their name. So that's why I think the big thing was on this last decision was that USA Cohiba was a little bit slow getting to the start line. So, so yeah, I think it's silly. I think the money that they're wasting, we're talking about Cohiba Red Dot. We're not talking about freaking anything else. Change the stupid name. Really?
They're in
Is
a lot
it worth that kind of money?
I don't know a lot of people who smoke those on the regular, but I guess there are some.
But is it worth that kind of money? I mean, how much have they had to pay these lawyers?
Been going on 25 years.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's like, come on. I can think of better ways to spend that money. So, anyways, what else you got?
Not a whole lot else. The only other interesting thing I saw was that Avowed is adding a cigar called the Higher Calling for Father's Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cigar for Father's Day that's not made by Punch with the dad bod or whatever.
The dad bod or the wieners.
So Avowed is rolled at the Kellner, new Kellner Cigar Factory. He Henke Kellner used to be the Davidoff. I don't know what he was, COO or something.
Gotcha. Okay. I did see, and we talked about this pre-show. Tariff increases are coming out. My thoughts on that are, I think it's a little premature. I think we're still in the moratorium. It's 90 days. I think we're 30 or 40 days into the 90 days, so we're not even halfway through. How can you start rolling out increases for now based on tariffs before you even know what's going to happen? Because if they go down, are you going to drop prices? Are you going to announce, hey, we're dropping prices? And if they go up, so now you're going to come back and say, hey, we're going to raise it again? You know, I understand about trying to get ahead of the ball, but I think at the same point, you know, the cigar industry is taking a hit as it is with price increases. Everybody just got done with their January price increases. Oh, you know, whatever we had, you know, 30 or 40 companies that increased pricing. And then all of a sudden you come back, and I want to say in the last week, there has to be at least a dozen that have come out and said they're doing increases based on tariffs. And I'm thinking, you don't know what it is, you know. Nicaragua, okay, it's a 10%. You know, I mean, basically he put it out, you know, Trump said everybody's going to be 10%. But we even talked about that, and I mean, there's so many videos out there that talk about that's 10% on the cost of making that cigar, which could be what do you figure, 5-6 cents?
Yeah,
total,
something like that. It's not. If tariffs are 10% and on a $10 cigar, your cigar price doesn't go up $1. It goes up whatever the wholesale cost is.
Yeah, whatever the whole. So, you know, passing, you know, oh, we're increasing pricing because of tariffs. I got angry. I will be completely honest. Full disclosure, I didn't read any articles on it. I just kept seeing everybody saying they're raising it. So I don't know what they're raising, how much they're raising it. But I gotta believe if you're announcing it, that you're at least going to be increasing it a quarter.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Most people were around a quarter.
So it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous because a quarter to us with taxes, you know, you're talking about another, 8 or 9%, you know, on that. So it's like, you know, that 25 cents to us all of a sudden becomes 75 cents or whatever. And
yeah,
it's like,
we don't have the highest taxes.
No
cigars. Like if you're in California, that's going to add up fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to think if they raise it now, maybe they won't do a price increase next year in January. If the tariffs don't go up or if they come down, who knows? What they should do is they should have a separate line item for tariff, and you know, whatever they sell the cigar for, you know, they'll sell it for X, and the purveyor can pass that cost on as they see fit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're going to raise it a quarter, you know, we'll just say that for the ease of argument. If the tariffs don't pan out the way you expected them, my press release would be, we're not going to lower our prices based on the tariffs being different. However, we can say that for 2026, there will be no price increase.
Right.
Okay, fine. You know, because, you know, I worked at a cigar lounge. Teddy works at a cigar lounge. It's a lot of work to freaking go in there and start changing prices.
Yeah.
On you know, 100 SKUs? You know, you're going in there and you're changing the price on those 100, you know, and that's for one brand.
Yeah.
You know, you turn around and say, okay, there's a dozen right now. Holy cow.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, and it's not like the cigar lounge going to go, okay, well, you're increasing 25 cents. It's going to take my guy 3 days to do this. So I'm going to increase it another 10 cents, you know, which is very possible. So now you got a 35-cent increase on a tariff that's costing you 10 cents.
Then if they decrease it, then there's more cost to go in there and decrease it.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll probably leave it where it is because it'll end up costing them more money than they'll make from it.
I know. Okay. All right. Well, let's do something fun here, Marty. What
All right.
happened today? What happened today in Chicago history?
I was
Any
looking at
ideas?
some things. I don't know what you picked. Give me a hint. I shouldn't have looked it up because now I have some ideas.
Okay. I actually went. I actually went for the Cubs and the Sox. I
Okay.
actually went for the Cubs and the Sox. So, May 13th, 1957, White Sox pitcher Billy Pierce became the first member of the team and the first Chicago athlete to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated with the headline "Pride of Chicago." So and this is weird. In 1957, okay, this is for the whole year. So that makes sense. It was 20-12 with a recorded ERA of 3.26. But I don't know how the heck how did he get into Sports Illustrated in May, and they're recording on what he did for the full year. So he must have just had a good week that week.
Yeah.
So
he had a lot of good weeks.
Yeah, he did. Oh, yes, he did. Yeah. And then May 13th, 1942, for all you diehard Cub fans, Chicago Cubs starting pitcher Jim Tobin delivered an extraordinary performance by pitching a complete game and hitting 3 home runs. Holy cow. Leading the Cubs to a 6-5 victory over the Boston Braves. So that was that's a heck of an accomplishment. That is a heck of an accomplishment.
What year was that?
1942. 1942. So yeah. I got one more for you. This is a trivia. It has nothing to do with Chicago, but it has to do with Illinois. What happened this day in Illinois history?
Okay.
And it has to do with one of our 2 major burger establishments. Have any idea? And I'll let you guess, and then I'll tell you the funny fact about this.
2 major burger establishments.
Mm-hmm. Something happened for one of them on this day in history.
McDonald's and are they both Chicago-based burger places?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who the second one is.
Burger King.
Burger King is based in Chicago as well.
Well, yeah, it's based out of Illinois.
I did not
and
know.
Here's the interesting fact. And so on this day, in 1968, the legal battle over the original Burger King in Mattoon, Illinois. It was a unique legal case that local Burger King in Mattoon, Illinois, established in 1954, won a court ruling that barred the national Burger King chain from opening a location within 20 miles of the town. This decision allowed the original establishment to continue operating independently. So, and it's funny because I saw that this week when I was reading some other stuff, and I'm like, is that factual? And I didn't look at it any further. And so I was looking up Illinois history this week, or this today. That came up. So yeah, so there was a restaurant in Mattoon, Illinois. It's still there, called Burger King.
What? And it didn't have like it wasn't part of Burger King, so it didn't have the Whopper and all that. It was just that was the name.
It was just Burger King.
Burger King.
Yeah. And I guess when Burger King started rolling into town to put up their store, Burger King Mattoon said, no. And they went to court and won. 20 mile radius. There's no Burger King within 20 miles of Mattoon. So if you want a Whopper and you're in Mattoon, get in that car and start driving. So,
can't have it your way in Mattoon.
You cannot have it your way in Mattoon. So that's crazy. Oh, yeah. So that is this day in Chicago and Illinois history. So back to cigar season. And just a couple other things to mention. But this is probably the biggest thing with cigar season in the Midwest. And I've experienced it. I'm sure you've experienced it. but it's cigar storage. Everything changes. Everything changes in the summertime because hello humidity, and wrappers will fall off of cigars. They won't light because they're too wet. So as much as we enjoy the summertime, if you are not a seasoned cigar aficionado, you can run into some major problems with your cigars come summertime.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you take them out of one temperature and bring them into another temperature with different humidity levels. And if you're smoking something with a fine, a thin wrapper, yeah, I've had them split and not burn well, and that's no fun. So what do you do?
Well, dry boxing is obviously the biggest thing, is dry box your cigars and then get them into your
like super humid outside. Do you just bring them, take them out of your humidor and let them get more humid?
Yes. You've got to look at what's going on. Again, you and I have a cigar smoking area inside the house. But you've got to know what you're going into. You can't leave cigars sitting in your car in a travel humidor and think, okay, I'm going to leave these sit here. I'm going to go into work for 8 hours and come out. That 8 hours in a black box in your car, you could dry those cigars out real fast. And then you're going to light it up and that thing's going to explode on you and you're going to be bitching and complaining because the manufacturer did a crappy job rolling this cigar. And it's no. So one of the things I'm actually having on order is a Cigar Medic humidity tester. I'm not a real big fan of them, but it's just some things I've noticed with some of my cigars and going into summertime. It's there you go. It's a good way to test. It's a good way to test your cigars before you smoke them, especially in the summertime.
Stick the two little prongs in the end there. You're reading. If you're having trouble with your cigars, it kind of lets you know if maybe that's one of the causes.
Do you use it a lot in the summertime or do you not use it as much?
I used it a lot when I first got it. And now I just kind of, I learned what I needed to learn from it, I guess. And so I don't use it a lot.
Yeah. I know one of our friends uses it. I see him pull it out every once in a while when we're together to check the humidity of a cigar. I mean, if you're indoors and you're smoking, if you're herfing and it, it's definitely, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're going outdoors, I would say you definitely should be checking the humidity of your cigars. Check what it is. Is it worth it? I think they are. They're like what, $40-$50? I forget what
it's not super expensive.
Yeah. So I think it's worth it.
I use it more for when I get a new batch of cigars, kind of gives me an idea for what shape they're in.
Yeah. And if you don't have the patience to let them sit in your humidor to acclimate for a week and you want to smoke one right off the truck, then you can check it right away going, oh, hey, this is at a nice ripe little 65 degrees. Yeah, I'm going to smoke this sucker right now.
Right.
Or, oh my gosh, wait a minute. This thing's at 50% humidity. This is gonna have to go through the whole process.
Or how long do I need to keep them in my humidor before I want to try one?
And I would say really, if you're smoking a $5 cigar, if it blows up, it blows up. You're not worried about it. But if you're pulling out a Saka Khan or a Pappy Van Winkle or something like that, you sort of want to make sure that you know where you're at with the humidity before you light that sucker up, because you don't want to have to throw that thing out.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that for some reason the last week or two, as I've been listening to podcasts and other people talk, these guys are like, oh, if I have a crappy cigar, I toss it out and I just light up another one. I'm thinking, if that's an $18 cigar, I don't want to just toss it out. Now, I mean, it sucks if I've lit it up and it's exploded, there's nothing I can do to it. But at the same point, I want to make sure that before I light up an expensive cigar, that I know what I've got. Now, like you, I know there's just some things I want to check with a humidity tester to sort of gauge how some things are. But yeah, so humidity is a big, huge factor in the summertime. If you're in Arizona, you're basically dry boxing your cigar the minute you light it up because there ain't no humidity. It's a dry heat. But at the same point, if your cigar is over humidified, you're gonna light that thing up outside and you're gonna go, what the heck happened? That wrapper's gonna start coming off right away. So
here's another consideration. So if you're if you know the next couple of weeks is going to be 90 degrees and there's a box of cigars that you want that they don't carry at your local B&M, do you think twice about placing your online order so the cigar can ride across the country, or do you pay like extra for the 2-day shipping?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you make sure you're going to be home when the cigars are delivered so they don't sit on your porch in the sun?
I'm telling you, when I just ordered my Aganorsas, because I will, these are not carried at all local B&Ms. These are exclusive to their select partners. So you had to find somebody online that was selling them. I paid for the extra shipping. And like I said, Tuesday morning, I was waiting at the post office to grab them and bring them. I didn't want them sitting there for a week. I didn't want them sitting in the post office for a week. I didn't ship them UPS just because if there was some problem. I sure as heck didn't want them sitting on the porch for a week. So brought them home, threw them in the humidor. So no, that's a huge consideration. It's a huge consideration. And I do in the summertime look more towards the faster shipping. Just because the United States Postal Service isn't exactly the best when it comes to deliveries. And if something sits in their warehouse for an extra week, who knows what's happening to it?
Right.
So
do you feel, so in the winter, it can get super cold. What do you think's worse for your cigar? Super cold or super hot?
I think super hot.
Just the temperature fluctuations that it has to go through while it's traveling for a week.
I think super hot.
That's gotta be worse.
Yeah. I just think that, this is coming from a FedEx guy. Just so remember that, guys. This is coming from a FedEx guy. UPS is better for cigar deliveries.
And he's at work too.
Yeah, I think this the heat, because the heat, if you're drying out a cigar, it could take you a month, if not more, to get that cigar up to, because you got to do it slowly. You can't all of a sudden, jam that thing in and try to rush the process. So,
right.
Versus if it's cold, all right, I'll let them thaw out for a couple hours. I'll put them in my humidor, and then I'm sure you'll be good within a week to start smoking those cigars. So
most cigars today are frozen at the manufacturer to kill the beetles.
Yes.
Like every cigar will start with some beetle eggs in it. I think that's a known thing.
Yeah.
But they freeze them. But do you know which brands are freezing them and which aren't? So then if you get a brand that didn't freeze and you get them in your mailbox for the afternoon at 100 degrees, then you're worried about beetles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 And there was just a post. I forget where I saw it at. It might have been on Facebook in one of the cigar groups, that somebody cut their cigar and a little piece of fuzz came out, and he thought it was weird, so he cut it open and opened up, and this fuzz was throughout the whole thing. So he's asking people what it was, and the king of cigars, Mr. Saka, chimed in because somebody asked him directly, and he thought that's what he thought it was. He goes, that was larva. He thought it was, beetle larva. It's probably something from the beetle that, was in there, whoever rolled it. wasn't paying attention, rolled it right into the cigar and sent it out. Credit to the person who posted it. He did not divulge the company, which I give him a lot of credit for that. I hate when people are doing that now, calling out brands, going, "Hey, this cigar did that." You know what? Take that up with the brand or take it up with the B&M that you bought it from. Don't blast them on social media. Now it's different if, hey, I contacted XYZ cigar company about this cigar and here's what happened. And they told me to go pound sand. Well, if it's factual, then you're going to blast them on it. That's their fault. They should be able to address that. So, what about drink pairings in the summertime? Do you select your cigar based on what you're drinking, or do you sort of pick your cigar and go, here's what I'm going to drink?
I think I would go for the drink first. Like I want something cold. I won't go for a bourbon, a neat bourbon. Texas Rebel, welcome to the show.
What's up, brother? If the manufacturer not shipping air, they're shipping in metal containers in the heat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And that's a beating on your cigar. That's a beating on that cigar.
But if they're frozen, you don't have to worry about the beetles. They're dead.
Yeah.
Once they freeze them, they're dead.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, in the summertime, I'm, if I do an old fashioned or something like that, a lot of times in the summertime, I'm doing unsweetened tea, so I don't really worry about what I'm grabbing.
Just a root beer on ice or, a cold beer.
Mm-hmm.
Cold light beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know some people do. I know some people, again, they will shift their summer smoking to be more on the lighter side because of what they're drinking, or on the heavier side because of what they're drinking. So it'll be like, hey, I'm drinking I'm smoking a Maduro, so I'm going to smoke something lighter and whatnot. So
root beer, I can drink with whatever. I don't have to worry about the cigar with root beer. Root beer goes with it like anything.
Yep.
Cigar-wise, anyway.
So, and last but not least is vacations. So, I just came back. And I will share, I was disappointed. I did some research on a couple lounges where I was staying. And I thought, well, I'm going to try to chuck over there and see what's going on. And the first day, I went to the first lounge that I found. The lot was empty, which wasn't a good sign. It's not a good sign.
No.
And I walked in and the place just looked bad. I didn't even walk in the humidor. I walked in and sort of said, "Oh, hey, how late do you guys open till?" And the guy gave me his, and I said, "Oh, okay, I might be back later." And I walked out. I'm like, it did not look like a good lounge. So yeah, I mean, as people plan their vacations, some people, I guess maybe I'm the weirdo or the one that likes to sort of look at cigar lounges, just sort of see what's going on in that town. We're going on another vacation in August, and I've already got 3 lounges that I've picked out to go check out while I'm down there. So, and then cruises are nice. More and more I'm seeing people on cruises, and they've all got the cigar lounges, or they're allowing you to smoke on deck, or they've got a smoking section up there for cigar smokers. So
I've heard
cruises.
that,
Yeah. Cruises definitely seem to be more cigar friendly, which it's nice. It's nice to be able to have that. I mean, if you're stuck on a cruise for 7 days, you'd like to be able to, at some point, grab a cigar and go enjoy the view and stuff like that.
Right.
Resorts, I don't know. Again, you probably need to check with the resort to find out what their policy is. Some might have lounges. Some might allow smoking on the beach. Most don't allow it poolside. Most do not allow it poolside. I know that. So maybe you pick your vacation based on where you can smoke your cigar.
Or where the room has a deck on it.
Yeah. The fun size one tells me that's called an addiction. She tells me, she goes, if you got to pick somewhere to go based on whether or not you can smoke a cigar, let's call it an addiction. And it's funny because we just picked out the place we're going to in August, prior to my son's wedding. And the place we found, I'm like, oh, there's a deck and it doesn't say you can't smoke on the deck. So we're taking this one. She's like, oh man. I said, hey, I said, as long as I'm not smoking inside the place and I can smoke on the deck, then that's what I'm going to do. So,
yeah, I don't think I would like eliminate a vacation spot just because it didn't have cigars. But if they do have a place, I'll check it out if I have time.
So, and just out of curiosity, so is smoking a cigar on a vacation a must for you, or is it just sort of if I can do it, I can do it. If I can't, I can't.
It's not a must. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I mean it's
one thing you haven't you kind of did talk about golfing a little bit. Like golf courses, most golf courses you can smoke at.
Oh yeah.
You want to go play golf, light up a cigar. Most of the people you get paired with aren't gonna yell at you for it.
And it's interesting too with golfing, because I think if you're golfing and smoking, you've got to have a cheaper cigar. You know, you're in the golf cart. I'm assuming you're driving. Us old folks driving the golf cart. The younger guys like Teddy and them can walk it if they want to. But if you're in the golf cart, that wind's blowing. So now that cigar is getting affected by the wind. You're putting it, you buy one of those fancy cigar holders for your golf cart. So that now you go up to drive the ball. You clip that into your cigar holder. And okay, fine. Now you come back, you grab the cigar, you get back in the golf cart and you start driving it. So it's like going, I don't see smoking a anniversario, anniversary cigar. I'd see the Umbagog or something else to go, okay, hey, not have to worry about it. One of the guys I used to golf with on a regular basis would always bring us the Maker's Mark cigar to smoke. And I'm like, I don't know if this is a cigar I want to smoke when I'm golfing either. It was a heavier cigar. I felt like it just was not something I'm like,
something meant to be paired with bourbon.
Yeah. So, well, this has been fun. It's been a great show. I enjoy this. I hope we shed some light on some stuff if you didn't know it. If you did know it, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate we had some new people join us today. That's great. Please like our show, share our show, recommend it to other people. We have 6 followers. I think we were up to 7 at one point. So, or 6 viewers, 7 at one point. So we'd like to get up there. We're working on some people to join us. It's always fun to have guests join us. I'd like to get up to 10 viewers to be able to say, hey, at least we have 10 people that view us, but we'll see. Next week, we're going to do a special show. I'm trying to work on getting somebody to join us to talk about Cigars for Warriors. Cigars for Warriors. It's the following Monday, May something or another, is Memorial Day weekend. So I want to talk about Cigar for Warriors and the great job that they do supporting our men and women overseas. The Chi-Town guys helped my son, who was shipped out on a sub for 6 months. And we sent him a care package that went over amazingly well. He was dubbed the cigar guy of the cigar. I forget what he called himself, but the cigar guy of the boat is basically, I think, what he got. And when they came back to shore, his friends all got him cigar related paraphernalia to say thank you for being their supplier while they were.
How many cigars did we end up shipping total?
I think we shipped over 100 cigars.
Wow.
To him. Yes. Yeah, I think there was over 100 cigars. He shared that with the entire sub. Anybody that wanted to smoke. I think I shared this before on the show. Maybe I didn't, but there is a place on a sub to smoke a cigar. So even when they were underwater, they could go and smoke a cigar. So the men and women of our armed forces, we owe a great debt of gratitude to them. And so we want to take next week's show and talk about Cigars for Warriors and all the great stuff that they do.
Yeah,
So,
great topic. That'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So join us, pass the word out, let everybody know that
Tuesday at 7:30 we go live.
Tuesday at 7:30 we go live. Want to see everybody here and be able to say thanks for joining us, and have a good night, and we will see you next week.
All right, put some smoke in the air, everyone. Take it easy.